So why don't more people do this?
Courage, fear of unknown, the doubt that goes through himself,
Right.
the not worthy, family, not supportive. There's a litany of things that you have to go through.
Risk averse.
Oh, absolutely. And not everybody's meant to be in a franchise or in any business, but you know, they just can't see it. But it, you know, when you see what I do is I help people. I like to often think I help people sort of climb the mountain, and it really, I can get them to the top, and they can look down into the valley and see the land of milk and honey if you want.
Right.
But it's up to them to go down and get it. It takes,
Right.
and that takes courage.
Yeah.
A lot of courage, and I respect people's ability to make that decision just as much as I respect people who can't make that decision.
Well, I guess sometimes it takes having to be, you know, laid off, or, you know, to have that first shock or disappointment in order to say, hey, you know, I can see where these last 10 years have gone. What's going to happen the next 10 years? Where do I want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Yeah. And that's, you know, that's how it happened for me, because I worked in corporate America corporate Canada, whatever, for, you know, for close to 15 years.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, if I'm going to start a new project, do I want to be working for myself, or do I want to be somewhere where they can turn to me in 2-3 years and say, thanks for coming out?
You and I share that same story. That's exactly mine. It's unfortunate that we had to be forced to it and couldn't take the decision to do it on our own, because our position today might be better. I remember saying to my wife once, I said, gee, I wish I had discovered what I was doing. Why wasn't I doing this sooner?
Right.
And she always has good answers and stuff, but she says, well, maybe you just weren't ready yet.
Right. That's what I believe. It's all about timing, and so I think I got some training being in corporate America or corporate Canada.
Yeah, you do, and it's valuable, but at some point it becomes diminishing, right? If you can't take it to the next level.
Right. Absolutely. And we talked about that. Because I know somebody very close to me right now, who's working for a blue chip company, and they're waiting for the severance, and the environment is so toxic, it's so awful that you wonder, like, is this person in the long run, is this person really gaining? It might be better to just rip off the Band-Aid and move on.
Because it comes about health too,
right? And
well-being and all of those things. And it's, you know, I mean, it's a hard decision to make, but it can be made.
Yeah.
And you've got to find a way to make it safe. That's why we go back to something we talked about earlier. If you can start that process earlier on.
Yes. Right.
While you're employed and recognizing you have options, you're there.
Right. To make it safe. And also, one of the nice things about when you're choosing a business is you can choose a business that's you're suited for. Yes. And if passion is a driver, then that can also be, you know, that can be a real driving force, I think, in your life.
Yeah, I love the word passion too, because passion in business has two meanings. I guess I learned this lesson from one of my candidates I worked with, and I always would talk to people about, oh, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing. You know, it's really important to be passionate. And I'd put him into a great business, and I knew he was doing well. And he came back to me and he said, Joe, he said, you need to know, I'm not passionate about my business. And I'm like, ooh, what's going on here? He says, but what I am passionate about is the lifestyle that you enabled my family and me to have.
Right. Right. Something to be said for that.
Well, it's actually more important to people than what they recognize.
Yes. So thanks so much for being here today.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. You should definitely give Joe White a call, Senior Franchise Advisor. He will help you find a franchise that you are well suited for, whether you are in a job and looking to think what's going to happen next in your life, where are you going with your life, and maybe you want to start something on the side that you're either passionate about, or to reduce the risk of making that move, or whether you have been laid off or are looking for that next big opportunity for you and for your family. Call Joe. Thanks again, and thanks for being with us today. I'm David Grossman.